in a while.
I like your coat, Veronica.
Thanks, I try to be styling.
Is that for Ready Player Me, or is that something else?
I think it's something else. Ooh, you got those. I almost picked those.
This is so not my style, so it's funny. To me, this is a hilarious outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, I would ideally wear these boots.
That's the best part of virtual reality. Right?
Yes, exactly. Get to vet yourself.
Dress like you're going to battle.
Yeah. Every day is a battle.
Ain't that the truth?
Like how they had their legs smiling.
I like the big legs.
Or more realistic.
Yeah, so you play around walking and running.
I don't know. It's definitely a different feel than Alt Space VR with the cartoon characters.
So you guys can also sit down if you like. One of the benefits of having legs. So I think we can go ahead and get started with introductions and stuff.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, awesome. I have a technical question. I'm having some trouble where I turn my headset on and it's black. It's like that black screen thing. And I've done like the soft reboot and, tried adjusting the inner lining and stuff like that, but it just seems to happen all the time. And I eventually have to take my headset off, just kind of hold it kind of upside down for a few minutes, and eventually it beeps. I put it on and things are back. But I'm wondering, is that something anyone else has experienced? I just started experiencing it too. Like, do you have an older headset? Like mine's like a year old. I wonder if it's, no, I bought this one probably in the last 6 months. But I have done, of course, there's been software updates, and I didn't know if I didn't want to go to that place where I had to do the hard reboot, like the factory reset, but that's kind of my next step if I can't figure something out. So that's I had to do a factory reset yesterday only because somebody had taken over my account, and they couldn't fix it on Meta side, so the only option was to do a factory reset. Wow. Did that fix the black screen? No, I still got it after that. Like just one time. And then I did like a reset, and then it was fine. Okay. I don't know if it's because my headset's older now and everything's getting more, a lot going on and it's not able to keep up. That was the only thing I thought. Yeah. Well, I don't know. This one is no more than 6 months old, so I hope that's not already considered obsolete. Hey, Veronica, I like your outfit.
Thank you. I worked hard on it.
Yeah, me too. I changed mine to blue.
We're twinning.
Yeah.
Was that a choice through Spatial, or did you get it through another app?
Yeah, this one was through Spatial. So what I did, I did create a Ready Player Me avatar first. And then I was looking, I'm like, that doesn't really look like me. So I decided to try out within Spatial, they give you the option of like using your own face head like we've been doing. And then you can choose from a very limited set of bodies and clothing. And so this was one of the outfits that they had. I know, like the thing that Tristy is wearing, that was like Louise. Those are some other outfits. So they had a couple things, and then you can change the color of certain elements. Like you could change the color of the jacket. So Veronica and I have the same outfit, but she's got purple and I have blue. So those were some of the options. Other than that, it's kind of, it's not nearly as wide of an option as you have, because you did yours in Ready Player Me, right?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
been doing it like you do, and then I was like, I'll just try something different. But it's interesting how it's like cross-platform, and I thought, well, maybe I'll be able to get more choices of like, different wear and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
Well, can you do more choices? I mean, or do you have to buy things in order to get additional outfits in Ready Player Me?
I just created it yesterday. It didn't look like there was a lot, but when I read up on it, just did some research, and it looks like that's the angle they're going. Like they're gonna try to like make deals with like designer brands and things, and
So you
try
can
to
wear
be
your
the
Gucci too.
centralized. Yeah,
That's
hopefully not have
interesting.
to buy it. But I'm sure. I keep thinking, do I need to set my avatar out to work to pay
So
for
you
her
can afford
outfits?
the new clothes.
All right, I think we're set up and
I did notice that the head,
recording
when
is-
you have the option to regenerate your head with the, when you choose an outfit like this, and it seems like they improved the AI a little bit. So I noticed that like the picture was a little better, and then I actually did with someone else had suggested, instead of just taking the picture straight up, take it and put it into Photoshop and fix it a little bit more, and then upload that, and that did kind of it was able to recognize the features a little bit better. So that was my tip of the day, I guess. Sometimes it's good to Photoshop yourself a little.
I'm hoping Ready Player Me will be able to go that route, too, because I think it's going to be an interesting thing for identity, to make sure it really is you or something.
Yeah, they didn't offer a lot of choice. I mean, they had like you could change your face shape a little bit and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of ways to customize it, and it didn't really look like they did a super great job based off of like, you take the picture and then you look kind of like a generic avatar, which is unfortunate. Although you look great, I think. I actually recognize you, but it helps that you have your name over your head.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in one of those Instagram filters.
So guys, I'm glad everybody
Hey,
was able to make it. I think
Hello, everybody.
Recording is set and we're good to get started with introductions. We got a lot to cover today. We've got Aleatha Singleton, who's here to talk to us about UX and careers in XR development and training for XR. And then I'm going to walk through some learning and upskilling opportunities and share a little bit of a document that I'll make available to the group on the Slack channel. So I'll go ahead and start for introductions. I'm Tristia Hennessy. I'm one of the administrators of the group, and I'm instructional designer and loving XR and having some technical difficulties. I'm trying to record on the Zoom meeting and desktop and my headset. So if I'm slow to respond or unmute, it's probably just that I'm juggling, various recording things. So thank you all for being here. I will hand over to Aleatha and let her introduce herself, and then we can just kind of go around the circle, and I will pass the talking sandwich to Aleatha.
Hello, are you able to hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hi, Aleatha Singleton. I'm a immersive tech UX designer. I have over 22 years of experience designing for various platforms, and most recently virtual reality and XR, and I create a lot of content around designing and UX best practices for this space, and I also instruct, teach people how to design for XR. And okay, going left, Veronica.
Oh, okay.
Do I pass the channel?
so walk over. Oh, whoops, too far.
We're still all
I was gonna
getting used
stand
to
by
our
it.
legs. And
Hi, I'm Veronica.
if you're not talking, could you please mute? I'm hearing some background noise or feedback. I know sometimes these microphones are really sensitive. So just so that everybody can hear and we get a nice clean recording, if you're not talking, please go on mute. So thanks, Veronica. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Veronica. I'm an instructional designer, jumping into the learning experience space and also XR design. And so it's something that I'm very intrigued with right now. Still a novice, so still getting used to everything, but it's interesting to see everybody's take on it and what they can do with it, so I'm excited. I don't know how to pass this sandwich. How do I, like, just go walk away. There we go. Thank you.
Which from you?
All right.
Has the sound? Oh, there we go. There we go. Not to me.
Leslie, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. So I'm Leslie. I'm also one of the administrators of this group, though I have been MIA this past month, but hoping to get back in the swing of things. I'm also an instructional designer. I'm working at Transfer right now, so learning the ropes there, and trying to wrap my head about how to storyboard in VR. So it's pretty complex, I will say. But so I'm super excited to hear what you have to say tonight, and for someone who has experience with UI design and UX design, I'm really curious to learn more. So I think Christopher is behind me hiding, so I can't pass this. I'm not on my headset, so someone's gonna have to pass it tonight.
I got it. Thanks, Leslie. Hey, congratulations on your XR journey too. That's really cool. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm Christopher Marinix, or Chris. I just opened up an XR lab and designed and created the curriculum for it. So I teach game design, XR world creation, and I'm also a special education teacher, special education consultant and director. I also am a digital music producer, but happy to join the group. So I'll just pass it out. Happy to be a part of the group, I should say. All right, Jay, here you go.
I'm Jay, and I'm an instructional designer for a company that works in mainly industrial and like different technological spaces and so forth. So I'm routinely designing storyboards and design documents for different both like 3D and 2D like simulations basically. So but it basically focuses on the simulation parts of like different it's basically focused on simulations and educational simulations and so forth. So I think that's pretty much the basics of it. So I'll pass on from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. And Angela, you
Is
have
it
the
me?
talking feet.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Anderson. I work in university education. I've been working in remote learning for a little over a decade now. And I love this group because I'm really trying to bring VR to our learning experiences at the university. And one of the things that I'm working on currently that came from inspiration from this group is a book club in VR with the faculty, just to get them interested in getting them to evaluate the experiences and with the intent of, bringing it forward in that avenue. So thank you.
Awesome. Love the book club idea. Kimberly.
Go ahead, take the sandwich.
Can't grab the sandwich. All right, here it is. Oh, there it is. All right, I'm Kimberly Go. I am an instructional designer. I'm a freelance instructional designer now. And particularly, I do interactive video design. So that is my specialty. And I recently launched my first online course in the Interactive Skills Academy, which is what I call the place on Thinkific, where my courses reside. And that's been like a really good experience for me, learning how to, learning some new skills in the course design world. But I'm primarily interested in VR just because I see it as the new, like the next new platform. I want to educate myself in it. I spent this last week, I was listening to some podcasts and paying attention to, some of the things. Chris Melk had done some talks, some TED Talks. I was listening to those things about storytelling and the way that VR is going to impact the world of storytelling and film. And I thought that was super interesting since I am in video design. So that's just here to learn from all of you. Okay.
Thanks, Kimberly.
You? Scaling it. There you go. Have a sandwich.
Thank you. I'm very new. My name's Kevin Corcoran. I just started being an instructional designer, and I came from education. Recently retired from education. I'm really excited to learn as much as I can about all of this, and it's been fun in this group already, learning from everybody. I don't think I can pass it based on I'm on a desktop right now, so I'm supposed to hit something, but I don't see the controls where I can hit.
Thanks, Kevin. Good to see you here. Yeah, the desktop controls for moving items are a little bit tricky, but yeah, it takes a little practice. It can be a bit fun.
Where do I hit to pass it? Because I didn't see what it said on the controls.
If you click on the object on the desk, if you're on the desktop, if you click on the object, you should be able to hold and drag it and move it around.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm moving myself there. Hold on. I don't think so.
No worries. I think Zoe's up next. And same with
You're doing great, Kevin. First time.
I'm looking good. Wait, I got it. All right, I'm arranging it right here. Okay, I think I got it.
All right. Maybe we'll come back to Zoe, and maybe she's not quite there. I'm not sure, but Louise, do you want to go? Oh, Zoe, you are unmuted. There you go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, everyone. My name is Zoe. I'm based in Denver, Colorado, and I'm currently a recruiter, but I have a background in training a little bit, which I really loved. I've spent the last about 6 months upskilling in instructional design, getting involved in a couple of volunteer projects, and just kind of networking on LinkedIn. I'm super excited about learning and development in XR. So super excited about tonight's meeting. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me see if I can pass. Is this a sandwich?
Yeah, our talking sandwich. Yeah, go ahead, Louise.
Let me see if I can grab this sandwich. There we go. Hey, I'm Louise, based in the Rocky Mountains of Canada in Alberta, and I am a science teacher turned competency-based instructional designer at a community college. But in my XR world, I am or becoming, I wouldn't say I am becoming a VR developer in earth sciences and science literacy stuff. My focus.
Awesome. Thanks, Louise.
And that's everyone.
Did I see Judy Katz join the space? Is she in here?
Oh yeah, I did see Judy.
What did you do?
I saw her pop in.
Yeah, maybe she's having some technical difficulties. But yeah, I think that's everybody. And just so you know, just a reminder, like guys, you know, the reason we go around and do these introductions is, you know, this is a meetup event and learning opportunity and networking opportunity. So, you know, listen to what other people are involved in and what projects they're working on, and you know, see where you might want to connect with somebody or learn something from them or hear more about a project they're working on. You know, this is also a good networking opportunity for us too. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the talking sandwich to Aleatha. And yeah, you can go ahead and tell us about your, oh shoot, I think I just deleted the sandwich. Hang on. I'm gonna get another one. But yeah, tell us about a little more about your background and you know, at least maybe some advice you might have for folks that are, you know, are in the training space and looking to bring immersive learning to their company or break into instructional design for XR modalities.
Okay, so hi again. For those that weren't here earlier, if anyone's joined since, I have over 22 years of experience designing for different platforms, starting in the web in the 90s, and then I need this to go away. Starting in the web in the 90s, and then worked on multimedia studios and web and mobile apps, and now VR. And how I got into the VR space was I started looking into it in 2012, actually. And back then, that was around when the Oculus first came out with their first Kickstarter campaign. SDK was 2011, 2012. And I started looking more into it and trying to like convince my company at the time that it was worth it to start looking into this and getting, because I seem to have a history of early adoption of technology. The 90s web wasn't fully adopted yet, and I was already trying to design for it. And the same thing with VR. I was looking into it before, way before it was mainstream. Not as much as a lot of people that have been in this space since the 90s, but I still seem to like be that kind of early adopter. So that's my background. So I'm always pushing forward technology and pushing forward, trying to adapt, getting people to adopt new things. And so how I got into VR was, again, that headstrongness and not taking no for an answer when people said it's just a fad or something. And it didn't work out at that company. That company didn't buy into it. They're probably starting to look into it now since, thanks to Facebook. But the way that I got the company, so several years later, 2018, after 2017, 2018, I started networking in the company that I was in at that time, and which is a different company, and trying not to name names of companies, sorry. But I started networking with other people in that company, and we found each other, people who are interested in VR and interested in the value of VR and teaching, because there was a very good training use case at that company. It was an oil and gas company. Safety training with consequence was a very big and important in the entire company. And so we saw VR as a very useful solution for that, and trying to get the company to buy into it. And we got together, we started doing some proof of concepts, and even without me having formal education in VR, because it wasn't available, especially in UX, which is my background, I started studying it myself, doing extensive research and development myself, and along with these other people at this company, and we just built up, they ended up building up an official team within the company, and then I moved over to that. So I kind of made my own job. I made my own position, and that requires a lot of communication, a lot of networking, a lot of stubbornness, really, how I did it. When we have proven
in VR
that
is very effective.
in
They
VR
went
is very effective. They went
at one location where we created a training simulation.
Created a
There were
training simulation.
they went from
There
one of the
were-
worst performing
They went from one
locations
of the
to
worst performing
zero
locations to
incidents
zero
within a year of getting that training
incidents
in
within
VR.
a year of getting that training.
And so that
in
shows
VR.
you the value of training in
And
VR.
so that shows you
And
the
so
value
y'all
of
are in
training
the
in
right
VR.
place to learn
And so y'all are in
more
the
about
right
it.
place to learn
But what are y'all's burning questions of
But what are y'all's burning questions
getting
of
into?
getting into?
Like, what are the
this
biggest
space?
questions that you have?
Like, what are the biggest questions that you have?
What platforms do you use to create your VR training simulations?
Unity.
Do
Unity
build
game is
Unity?
in,
Okay.
Unity.
Do you
Unity
build
game is in-
Unity? Okay.
Yeah, for the building. So for design,
for the building. So for design,
designers only need to know enough to
designers
like,
only need to know enough to
place things in
like,
scenes and do click-through prototypes.
place things in
That's
scenes
the
and do
most that
click-through
you're going to
prototypes.
absolutely need
That's
to
the most
do,
that you're
unless
gonna
you're, depending on the size of your team.
do, unless
Of
you're
course,
depending on
but
the size of your team.
they're coming out with
Of
more
course,
tools
but,
that allow you to
they're
prototype
coming out
like
with more
shapes,
tools that
XR,
allow you to
XR.
prototype like shapes.
I think somebody
XR,
mentioned
XR.
shapes earlier.
I think somebody mentioned
Um,
shapes earlier.
Shapes XR is a good
Um,
one for doing
Shapes
rapid
XR is a good
prototyping
one for doing
and
rapid
concepting.
prototyping.
But the
and
actual builds are
concepting.
good in Unity.
But the actual builds
And-
are in Unity.
Unreal can also be used as well. though.
Unreal can also
For
be
the
used
actual
as well,
builds.
though. For the actual
Or
builds.
you can
Thank
also
you.
use
Or you can also
Sumerian, which is
use
for web XR,
Sumerian,
meaning that
which is for
anyone
web
with any
XR,
headset with a web
meaning that
browser
anyone
could
with
access
any
your
headset with a web browser
XR
could
training.
access your
And
XR training.
then there's also cardboard, depending
Then
on
there's also cardboard,
if
depending on
your client
if
base,
you-
if you
your
have a
client base.
depending on
if
the
you
economic
have a depending
level
on the
in
economic
that client base, you could be
level
using
in
cardboard
that client
and
base,
creating
you could be using cardboard and
web
creating
XR, web-based 360
web XR,
based
web-based
phone-based
360,
VR as well.
based phone-based VR as
That's
well.
really cool. I teach high school students how to use Unity and program in C Sharp. Use Unity and program in C Sharp. We have a new career center. We have a new career right adjacent to my XR lab. Right adjacent to my XR lab. And I was thinking of building. And I was thinking interview simulation. Like an interview simulation. With you sometimes and get your thoughts on that. Get your thoughts on that.
There may already be some existing out there.
There may already be some
Really?
existing out there.
This
Really?
HR is
Because
a major
HR
application
is
at training HR.
major
If you
application at training HR.
just try to Google that
Just
HR
try to Google
training in
that
VR.
HR
HR
training
training
You
in
might
VR.
find
Okay.
some
HR training in
use
VR.
cases,
Okay.
but I know that there have
use
been
cases, but I know that
examples
there have been
of people
examples
dealing
of
with
people
having to fire an
dealing
employee
with having to fire an
that's
employee
training in VR, and
that's
I
training
think
in VR, and I think
onboarding for new employees, things like that.
onboarding
lots
for new
of
employees,
HR
things like that,
applications.
lots of HR applications.
Yeah, Tailspin does a lot of soft skills training. And I know Kristen isn't here tonight, but definitely if you're interested in soft skills training, role play, leadership, hiring, firing, HR kind of topic for VR, Kristen Torrance would be a fantastic person to connect with.
Yeah,
She's great.
And there is
She's
a
great.
company in
And
Texas
there
that I
is a
cannot for
company
the
in
life of me
Texas
remember the name
that I
of.
cannot for the
They
life of me
also
remember the name of.
soft
They
skills
also
training, and they also like create
soft skills
training
training,
for
and they
how to
also
do
like create
how-
training for how to do
practicing
how-
speech,
practicing
doing speeches, doing
speech,
presentations,
doing
and
speeches,
it'll
doing
measure.
presentations.
I think
And
it's the
it'll
one in Texas.
measure-
It'll measure how many
I think
times you
it's
say
the one in Texas. It'll measure how many times you say how often you
and so
look at the
forth. It's pretty
audience,
interesting.
and so forth. It's pretty interesting.
And I think somebody had mentioned storyboarding before.
And I think somebody had mentioned
Um,
storyboarding before.
Do you have questions
Um,
about storyboarding for VR?
Do you have questions about storyboarding for VR? Somebody?
I mean, I do a lot of work with stories, so I guess I would be curious if there is, a particular methodology that you would recommend for people who are doing that design portion and creating stories that are compelling. Because I mean, you know, obviously in the VR environment, it's such a different way. It's first person. It's a very different way of conveying information. So how would you recommend going about doing that?
I just found some resources recently that are specifically around creating narrative and story for VR that I'll try to remember to share. I have access to the Slack, so I can try to remember to share those, or you can ping me in there and remind me to. If I don't, but they were specifically around creating branching narrative and storyboarding and things like that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kevin, I think you're in here twice, and your second self is having some technical difficulties.
I must be in here 3 times. So. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Kevin, I might have to try to remove your second instance. Hopefully it doesn't come out. What we can do here.
Is there a way to do that? Like you can just remove somebody, and I'm just curious in case I ever run something like that.
So if you are an administrator of the space, you can do that.
Oh, cool.
Should be able to mute them too.
Yeah, I just muted him, so it doesn't look like it is muting, but
it almost seems like he's talking outside of here, but it's like catching in there maybe.
Or it's the feedback possibly. Well, I don't hear it for now. So I think it works. So Kevin, I'm sorry we had to mute you, man. I don't know what was happening, but it looks like there's 2 of you in the space and there might be some feedback issues or something. So, but looks like we're good now. So, yeah, Kimberly, on storytelling and narrative for VR, I will try to find the link to it, but I purchased and probably read the first few pages of and haven't really gotten to the rest because my list of books to read of my stack has gotten bigger and bigger. So, but there is a book out. I think it's called Storytelling for VR. I'll need to make sure of the title, but I'll put a link to it in the Slack channel later tonight.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Anybody else have any other questions or?
I have a ton of resources on my story of how I transitioned into this space and some advice on working teamwork with developers, communicating with developers. And I'm also working on I'm constantly working on content. I have a weekly stream on Thursdays where I specifically talk about gaming for VR, game design for VR, and right now I'm working on training sims for VR. So you can check that out if you want to on Thursdays.
Have you done anything with like AI? One of the things I would love to do, like I've started working on in Unity building scenes, and I created like a circus, and I work in a data analytics program, and what I want to do is get it to the point, like, you know, like with robotics, you can, in the physical world, you design your robots to be able to do certain activities. I would love them to be able to create avatars and then give an obstacle course like in the middle, and then using, if you know, testing out their AI skills, be able to see if the avatars can get through the obstacles, you know, just like you do with robots. Have you seen or done anything related to that?
I haven't personally done anything related to that, but I have seen the use case where people can test out their robots and their robots' AIs in VR because it saves a ton of money as opposed to building one in the real world and testing it that way. You can. I've seen use cases where that's been done, but I haven't done it myself or been involved in it.
Because I kind of see like eventually that being a thing in VR is not only having, but can we create almost like the movie Free Guy, be able to create things that can kind of, but it would be a really good experience for students to test out their AI,
Yeah.
like machine learning work and stuff. That's cool. If you have anything on that, I would love to
Curious if I
absorb
missed
it.
the event.
Are
I
you
know
able to
I'm
hear us?
running a bit late.
Are you able to hear us?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just asking, what kind of things you're working on right now?
I don't have any projects per se, but I'm working on a lot of
If I have to have a different
curriculum
experience
for.
since I'm only on my desktop and not using a headset.
Are you able to hear us at all? Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hear us.
There's a chat function here, is there?
Hi, Luis.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you can. But right now, I'm working on creating a curriculum for teaching people how to design for XR for full schools. That's what I'm working on right now, and a workshop, design workshop, where I walk through the design process or something. Those are the big projects. A lot of teaching gigs and writing gigs, but not a lot of project gigs, like actual design gigs. Mostly teaching design. Yeah.
Thanks very much. I have
So
to jump out, so I'll see you all next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Luis.
All right. See you later. Bye, Louise.
So my question is, how feasible is it to be an XR designer without coding experience, without that skill?
They're going to want you to be able to use Unity. The companies want you to be able to use it, but you can use it without code. You can use visual scripting.
Okay.
And if you've ever heard of that, you can use visual scripting within Unity. So you don't have to learn C# or any of the other stuff. You can do that.
Okay.
I,
And C is the language used in Unity?
I think
sure.
Is that correct?
I get them mixed up
Or
because
C#?
Unreal uses C++, I think. I don't remember. And then
Okay.
Unity
We'll
uses
see.
C#. Okay. Yeah.
There's
Usually-
do you do a lot with physics? I found that physics was a good thing to brush up on when I was starting to work with Unity. Did you kind of see that too, or?
I've been fortunate enough where I've always been working with Unity developers who deal with all that, so I didn't have to deal with that, the physics side of things, and so no, I haven't worked with it. I do understand that physics is very important within Unity, and you want to study how things behave in the real world, and make sure that that stuff does have to be designed back in. But actually creating and coding and creating that stuff myself, no, I haven't done that.
So it's not something that you need to work into like your storyboards or like the idea
Well,
of realistic and versus non-realistic and what you're capable of?
I don't generally focus on that on storyboards. I generally focus on what are the micro interactions. So you storyboard out your flows, and then for each step of the flow, you would you would create a list of micro interactions, like what is the trigger of that's triggering the event that's happening, what's the sound effect that's going to happen, like holding your hands together and it's clapping, and then you've got all these little sparkly things coming out of your hands, and there's a sound effect. And so those are micro interactions that are happening, and there's also a haptic that's happening whenever you bring them together. So whenever you bring the controllers together, the haptics vibrate. Those are micro interactions. And so you talk about each of those things in your design. And I have some articles on that.
Like all the
too.
different senses that you're experiencing now.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking about, that and what's happening in the environment and so forth. Any voiceover that's needed for that step. Those are the kinds of things that you storyboard out.
For physics,
and then
you can just talk to the developers and
you
say
can
it
just talk
needs
to the
to
developers
sounds
and
like
say
ball,
it needs
or
to sounds like
something,
ball,
or you can find video clips of how
you can
other
find
VR
video clips of how
experience
other
have
VR
done that thing and show them
experience
that.
have done that thing and show them that.
But you don't necessarily have to storyboard out
But you don't
physics
necessarily
unless it's
have to
something
storyboard out the physics unless it's something
pretty in depth.
But are you seeing?
But
Do you connect it with like multiple
multiple
intelligences? Like, are you connecting it to learning design
learning
when
design
you're doing that, or is what you've
when you're
worked on is
doing that, or
more
is
the
what you
flow?
worked on is more
The flow and the user
Flow.
experience.
and the
How
user
easy is it to use?
experience.
What are all these
Easy is
different
it
sensory things that are happening in
what
the
are
environment
these sensory things that are
and flow? And then
in the environment?
it may be that you end up having to do that, but
It may
for
be that you
training,
do end up having
we
to
would
do that.
have. I worked with
But
developers,
for
and the
training,
developers
we would
would
have
also be
our
on any kind of research
developers and the developers
where they
would
would
also
need
be
to
on
learn how the machines work and how
where they would
need
need
to
to learn how the
on a
machines work.
For example,
The
the developers would be working with subject matter experts
The developers would be working
on
with
that.
subject matter experts
And those subject matter experts
on
would
that.
be teaching
And
them
those subject
how the
matter
machines
experts
work and giving them
would be
videos,
teaching them how the
video
machines work,
footage,
giving
sound
videos,
effects. They would be
video
working with
footage,
subject
sound
matter
effects.
experts to get
They
that
would be working with
information.
subject matter experts.
In my
That
experience.
information. In my experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Aleatha, what do you think is the job outlook for, are there specific industries? If someone was just getting into this VR development world, are there specific industries that you would want to specialize in, or can you just specialize in like learning the platform like Unity, for instance, and then you can easily jump to any type of industry?
So the common requirements. Are you wanting to get into UX design
Are
or
you wanting to get
development?
into UX design or development?
Well, I'm not actually necessarily going to get into this yet, but if I were to do it, probably more on the UX side rather than the development side.
So for sure you need to understand user experience processes and
user
methods
experience
and
processes
best
and
practices
methods and
for
best practices
VR in general or XR
for
in general, whichever
VR
platform
in
you're
general
wanting
or
to learn
in general,
and then and you can just look at the jobs that are out there.
and you can
Microsoft's
just look
constantly hiring,
at the jobs that are out there.
Meta's hiring,
Microsoft's constantly hiring,
Google's hiring,
Meta's hiring,
and look at their
Google's
job
hiring,
listings,
and
and there's
look at
usually
their
a
job
common
listings.
requirement
And
across
there's
all
usually
UX
a common
have experience
requirement
working on a VR
across all
project.
UX
If
to have
it's for an
experience working on a VR
role.
project. It's for
Working on actual projects with the team,
working on actual
doing
projects with the
user
team,
experience process,
doing user experience
and
process,
having some kind
and
of outcome deliverable
having some
that
kind
you
of outcome deliverable
that you can show.
that
And
you can show.
they prefer that you have
And
ability to
they
prototype
prefer that you have ability to
and
prototype
design for VR.
and
so
design
that
for
preferred skills, and there's debate on whether or not it's going to become a required is Unity or Unreal or another similar game engine. Right now, it's set in the preferred but we don't know if it's going to go to required. So you would have a competitive advantage. If you learned Unity, for sure.
You would
learn
recommend
Blender
Unity over Unreal.
You learn Blender. It's usually if you know one. Some companies only work in Unreal. Some companies only work in Unreal. Learn the other. But if you know one, you can learn the other. But usually, from what I've seen in the listings for designers, that they'll list preferred qualifications, experience working in a game engine like Unity or Unreal is usually what's listed. So you can pick one. That you prefer. Some people prefer Unity. Some people prefer Unreal.
Thank you. I came across some research that said that 70% of the games are made in Unity. I've been researching. I've been researching the companies to invest in because I'm like, this is where it's going to explode. So Unity is definitely one I would put on the portfolio.
Unity. However, Unreal's used more for cinematic and a lot of the games that have a lot of beautiful visual effects and so forth are done in Unreal. For example, Vader Immortal, that was done in Unreal. And then, however, I think the majority are done in Unity.
So if you want to get more intricate, is that what you're saying? Unreal.
Is that what you're saying? Unreal.
Yeah, if you're wanting to do
Unity's more kind of mainstream.
If you're wanting to do like film or the more cinematic type of XR, then you might want to go the Unreal route. And then also learning tools like Blender, Shapes, XR. Those are going to be beneficial.
Do you do anything with EFTs?
EFTs?
Yeah, have you looked at that from an enterprise standpoint? Like,
no, my experience in enterprise was training in XR. Safety training with consequence.
But have you figured out how to monetize that? Because I assume you're creating some pretty cool stuff, especially with Blender. So other companies may want to purchase. You know what I mean? Like,
are you talking about NFTs?
Yeah. Oh, NFTs. Sorry, I got it mixed up. Non-fungible.
Right. Okay. Right. No, I haven't done anything. No, I haven't done anything. I've looked at it, but I haven't done anything with it. Because I do see, I was looking at Ready Player Me. I can't see myself, so I don't know what I look like. I think I have a Ready Player Me avatar. Mm-hmm. Is that what I have?
Yeah, you do.
So I was looking at that earlier, like in their wardrobe section. That's where the NFTs come in. So the fashion for the wardrobes. So I can see that becoming a thing in the future, like you were saying earlier about the fashion and so forth.
One of the things to get into first is building a t-shirt. I somehow found something to create an avatar, and you could just put an image onto a t-shirt.
And because that's what I'm going to do with the book club, is I'm going to kind of just make it fun, like, hey, set up your Ready Player Me or whatever avatar, and we'll like have a contest with everybody that comes. Also, 'cause it seems like everybody can kind of explore different, styles and stuff. It's kind of neat.
It's a good idea, Angela, with the t-shirts.
Yeah. You can do that now in VR chat if you know how to make a custom avatar for yourself. You need Blender and Unity to be able to do it, but you can do that right now in VR chat.
I'll try to drop in the link to it was somebody made it. It was like using code like Ready Player Me, but you took like a picture of yourself and it created the avatar, and then you went in and you just took an image and it created and then I downloaded the object and I was able to put it into a world.
That's really
Like,
cool. I had my
Taffy,
students
Toffee.
build their players. That'd be great. They would love that.
I think it's TAFI, right? Toffee.
I think that's
You
what
can take
it's
a
been a
picture of
while,
yourself
a couple of weeks.
and then create an avatar with it. Yeah. So that was something that y'all were talking about earlier that I found interesting is y'all are trying to create avatars that look like yourself. And so I'm seeing multiple people groups out there. There are people that want their avatar to look like them because because you seem to have more of a sense of identity if your avatar looks like you. But then there are people like me who don't care. I would rather look like an animal or a robot or something than myself, because that's more interesting. It's more fun. It's virtual space. I can do more than just, I can look in the mirror if I want to see myself. But in the virtual space, I can be something else. So I think that I found that with gaming too, like MMOs and so forth, that there are some people who make their game avatars look like them, and then people like me, they don't look anything like me. So it's interesting. You're going to have both people groups.
I sat in on a talk with some legal people that are studying the metaverse, and that was a comment that they were talking about. Like, will it be a situation where people have to really identify themselves better? Like, is that something, because it's a different world, you know, that's like, or is it, I see it, like you said, like people can identify it any way they want, you know, in the
I think
space.
people are going to want that. Now, there's going to have to be a way, because right now with the internet, you don't have to know what somebody looks like to validate who they are. And so I think that should just translate over into the metaverse. It shouldn't matter what we look like.
That's how you and I, because we understand the back end, but I wonder if people that
on the
are more
surface,
on the surface
of
you
looking
know,
at it,
of looking at it,
differently,
may
like a
see
different
it differently,
perspective.
like a different perspective.
When they
like,
pop in here,
when they pop in here,
they
want to know I really am
Angela, you know,
Angela, you know, or
you know, like.
you know, like
that's what it seems like Ready
that's
Player
what it seems like Ready
kind
Player
of
Me is
trying
kind of trying to go with
you
is having you
kind of maintain a certain
identity across platforms or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. How they're going to handle that. How they're going to handle that.
Personally,
there would have to be research.
there would have to
be research done on that.
personally,
I would be annoyed if someone wanted to force me to look like a certain way. I'm like that in real life. My hair is purple. My hair is purple. In real life, my hair is purple, and I wear beanies. Here. I couldn't color my hair. I didn't purple. I didn't want to pay for it. But on the avatar, but it's like that's me. That's who I am. That's me. That's who I am. And so I hate it.
Or it might just be in
certain circles.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a problem in the corporate.
if it's for a corporate application, they're not going to be as friendly towards the fun avatars. They're going to want
the serious corporate
avatars.
They're going to go more the way of
it must look like you.
It must look like you.
Is that what you've
personalized? That is what I've seen. Is like the people
I've seen both actually.
Well, I've seen both actually.
When we were testing it out,
when we were testing it out
at
the oil and gas company,
where
I was
the actual employees that are doing the actual work
want to have fun with their avatars. But bosses don't. So
they just want to. Do
they usually just want to watch you?
Because
in the avatars to have suits just like they do in real life.
Because at our
university,
we use Teams and Microsoft, just 2D, stuff like not like this, It's like they have access at the top to see anything that they want.
It's like
when you're down at the bottom,
a lot of people don't realize it's
like people
going on. But like people enter meetings and you don't know that they're there because they're
at the top. So it's interesting how
the different layers, how they kind of look at it.
Yeah. That's what I've seen in my previous company.
It's okay. I wanted to
reintroduce like a
previous topic about
how
games can
play into the
LXD environment,
LXD
like
environment,
the learning
like
environment
the
supports.
learning environment
I
supports.
think that they can.
I think that they
and
can, and
I'm, for example, I'm pretty apt at Unity. So, and working with my own company in Unity, so I feel like there's like really a big strength there with like gameplay and learning experience. So, I wondered if you might be able to share more about that part, like the gameplay plus the learning experiences
experiences as well.
Game design directly
Game design
influences
directly
VR
influences
design in
VR
general.
design in
I found that
general.
when I was
I
doing
found that when I was doing usability research,
when I first
when I first
really getting
started
into
really
VR,
getting into VR, I did a series of
usability tests
usability tests
with locomotion and with various things. And what I found pretty quickly was that their level of
their
experience with
level of
games,
experience with
gaming, affected their response to VR
directly.
directly. And so
And
it
so
does, and that's
it
actually
does,
when I
and
got
that's
back
actually
into
when I got
gaming
back into gaming
myself.
myself.
Was
Was
and that's one of the things
and
that I
that's
do on
one of the things that I
Thursdays
do
is
on
I talk about
Thursdays
games
is I
and
talk
game
about
design and how
games
that
and game
translates
design and
into
how that
XR.
translates into
There
XR.
is a
There
lot
is
of
a
inspiration
lot
that
of
comes out of
inspiration
video
that comes
game
out of
design,
video
the
game design,
processes,
the
the team
processes, the team
set up
set
for
up
how the
for
development
how
team
the development
works
team
is the gaming
works is
team,
the gaming
pretty much.
team, pretty much.
And the gaming
And the
UX,
gaming
pillars of
UX,
UX for
pillars of
gaming
UX for
translate
gaming
directly
translate
over
directly
into
over into
VR.
VR.
There's a direct
There's a
correlation
direct
there.
correlation there.
And
And
there was something else I was
there
going to
was
say,
something
but I
else I was
forgot
going
it.
to say, but I forgot it.
I mean, I've always felt that from like
I've always felt that
my
from
experience, like my past experiences.
my experience, well, like my
I
past
grew up with
experiences,
games, obviously, and so forth.
because I grew up with
And
games, obviously, and so forth.
they can
And
teach you, like especially with
they can
like
teach
the
you, like especially with like the
more like physical
more
experiences and so
like
forth.
physical experiences and so
So
forth.
if you're
So like if
trying to
you're
teach a subject in
trying to
like
teach a subject
the
in like
physical realm,
the physical realm, um,
it really
it really
is like a very good teaching
is like
tool.
a very
Like
good teaching tool. Like be directly in influencing with your own experiences. So
Yeah, and the fact that you can make the VR training more engaging than you can traditional LMS, a learning platform on slides or on the web or desktop, much more engaging. That potential is there for VR, learning by doing. And I have seen direct results of that in my experience training in VR with consequences, because you can show them, if you're doing safety training, for example, consequences that you could not show them in the real world. You'd have to watch videos of a story that happened to someone else, but you can make it happen to them. Of course, taking trauma and PTSD into account, because you don't want to cause your PTSD in VR, because psychological things still happen in VR as well. But yeah, there's a direct correlation there. And I remember what I was going to say is, when we were creating our training sims at this previous company that I was at, we were constantly referring to video games for sources of inspiration. Like, on our scope of work documentation, we talk about Walking Dead, Vader Immortal, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, because there were patterns that we were grabbing from those games to bring into VR as inspiration.
it's really good to hear. Actually, I enjoy that to hear that
Yeah.
because I think it's really true. You know, for sure. Like video games and training can be combined for sure. Like and
Yeah.
you learn from like educational games, so it's really a
Yeah.
big truth. So thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. I actually teach at Circuit Stream.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Elise.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Al.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks.
You too.